listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Power After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Power After Show.
Yeah. That's right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AFTERBUZZers. Welcome to the opening series debut of Starz original network series Power. Executive produced by 50 Cent, starring Omari Hardwick and Aturi Naughton. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey. Joining me today is
Bamm Ericsen.
Bamm Ericsen is joining me here to discuss this show, talk about the launch of a new show by 50 Cent on Starz, and I'm really feeling the first episode. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, but when I saw the cast, I said it should be good because there's a lot of talent they're throwing on there, and obviously 50 got the right people. Randall Emmett's on it, producing on it as well, I believe, and it's a very quality show. I'm impressed. The writing is good. Just in general, how did you feel about watching the opening episode, Bam?
I thought it was good. I liked how they did kind of like the character build up, maybe like the first 30 minutes of trying to establish who everyone was and what their motives was. Right. And then toward the later part of the episode, then they go into now the story, especially with Angela and her purpose and the wife Tasha and then the best friend. The story started to unravel after it was like, okay, so now he's this, and then boom, we got right into it. So they didn't have to like drawn out the whole entire pilot with just trying to set up who everyone is. Right.
Yeah. They did a really good job of establishing that, just especially from the opening of showing the lavishness of getting ready and getting dressed to get ready to go out, and them hitting the nightclub truth. Mm-hmm. Okay, for those of you who don't really know what Power is about, of course you're supposed to, because this is an after show for people who already watched it. Mm-hmm. But if you're just checking this out and you haven't seen the show or don't know what the show is about, it's about a guy who pretty much lives two lives. He's the powerful drug kingpin in New York City, and he doubles as a club owner wanting to break out of the life. It's the story. The thing about the story is it's not so quote unquote original. It's not something that we haven't done before. So, you have to, when you're creating something that's been done, it has to be done in such a way that it makes poignant statements, and the scenes and the writing is just really, really creative. I don't know about you, but Tommy, who is his right-hand man, or his partner, I should say, he reminds me of Eminem. Does he remind you of Eminem? For some reason, I'm thinking Eminem when I'm looking at this guy.
I didn't see Eminem, but I could see the correlation.
Yeah, just like kind of like mannerisms or whatnot. Emma probably might. Go ahead.
So it would kind of be something like.
It kind of resembled kind of sort of to me.
And so if 50's, well, I'm not gonna diss 50 Cent's acting, but if 50 Cent could do this, it would be him and Eminem as the two leads.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the fact that they got Omari to do this show, I'm not sure who else could have really played this character. Maybe Laz Alonso. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know who else really. Maybe besides Laz, they could have played this character. Mm-hmm. But they hit the nail on the head by getting Omari to do it, because he's hitting all the points. He's doing a good job, and this is good for him, especially considering his career and him actually getting an opportunity to be a lead in an actual series. Yeah, it's gonna actually lead to bigger and better things for his career, I believe, down the line, because he's really gonna get to show some range here. A man who's conflicted with two lives and being pulled in two different directions of having to It's the age hotel. Right, going right or going left. He's got his buddy, his partner Tommy, calling him on one line, and then when he's when he's with his family, and then he has the owner or the GM of the club, not the owner, he's the owner, but the GM of the club calling him on another line saying, hey, they want to do a spread on you, page 6, which is a big deal in the club community, or the nightlife community, I should say. And he's kind of like, yeah, I got to call you back.
Yeah.
He's not like...
He's literally torn between these two worlds, and his friend, was it Tommy, right?
Tommy, yeah.
Tommy is like the devil on the right shoulder. He's like the devil where Ghost wants to live a certain way and kind of leave that alone, and then you have the devil that's on the shoulder that's always telling you what to do. Just to kind of set things up, so when we open up, we go into to Ghost and his wife Tasha going into the club. We see the establishing shot. They go in. It's the opening night. It's already 400 people in the club, and the max is only 325. So it's very successful.
It's cracking.
Basically it's cracking. It's popping. Right. Everything is where it's supposed to be. And as he's trying to enjoy this night and just all take this in, then he gets a call in regards to his other life.
His real business.
Yeah, his real business.
Right.
And now he's forced to leave the club, and now he has to go take care of this business. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's discuss that, because that really got into more of what he really does, as opposed to his heart and mind is actually going somewhere else. And there's actually a tie, an emotional tie, because I believe he mentioned that his dad was a club owner.
Yeah.
So,
and his dad would be proud of him that he actually got the club open. It was obviously something that he aspired to do for many years.
Right. Yeah. And when you're dealing with writers or whatever, that they don't do really anything on accident. They call the club Truth, and that was a smart way, a very intelligent name to come up, or creative thing to, creative title for the club, simply because this is kind of the pivot point of where the truth of his life, there has to be some truth.
Yeah.
And because he's living a double life. So the truth is, that's the life he really wants. And he's looking at things on a much grander scale. And it doesn't seem like the people from his old life, which is still the life that he's really in, want that. But going back to the storyline, yeah, he gets a call from the opening of the Club Truth. Tommy calls him, and they got some business to take care of. And apparently, they took a hit on some of their product. So obviously, he's in the drug business, and somebody, I was really unclear about either somebody took money or took drugs. I think it was money.
I wasn't sure either, but I would assume maybe both.
Okay, so they got hit, and now they don't know who to trust, because apparently the information of how their system is set up is so organized, and of course they have a really tight network to have the information travel from anybody that's on the staff that works for him and does any of the dealings with the money or the drugs or whatever. It has to be somebody kind of on the inside, so they really don't know what's going on, and that forces him to take his workers and his staff off the street. So now they're just out of commission for right now.
I like their codes. You notice on all the text it said number one
86.
86.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's like 86. It's like, 86 any business you're doing right now. So they've already established a very, very organized system.
Yeah.
And he's very intelligent in how he's insulated himself. Even his guy on the street, who is Tommy, is insulated to a certain degree, because obviously when you see Angela and them, they have a whole line on Felipe Lobos, who is the cartel kingpin who actually supplies, who's his supplier.
Right.
I don't know. Did they actually, I think they mentioned something, and I can't remember what they mentioned, but it seems as though he owes Lobos for something that happened besides the fact that he just owes them for product. Like, he's on a payment schedule.
I wasn't sure, but I think that's something that's going to be revealed later on in the next couple episodes, because there definitely was something that you can tell that there was more to the story.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something that goes beyond standard business with them. And I also
maybe his father.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did have something to do with that. We could talk about that in predictions, but yeah, that was really interesting how he dealt with him. But actually, Felipe or Lobos, they call him Lobos. Lobos actually sees a lot of potential in him, as far as him being his own, cartel kingpin, and completely being away from the life, like completely being insulated away from the life that he's living. He's on the way to doing that. Anyway, whoever this kid Miguel took a bullet for obviously is more frightening than him. He's rather die, and he took a bullet.
He sure did.
And it was fine for him, because I don't think that he was even gonna say anything. I think he would have let his fiance get shot. I think he would have let her die too. At least that's how it appeared to me, because he wasn't gonna say anything. And then at the same time, but it was really smart, because Tommy seems like the hothead.
Yeah, he seems like an idiot. Where he will, we'll talk more about his character, because he did some shady stuff that is going to eventually probably bite him in the butt later on.
Right. Well, I think his head is in the street. That's where they make their money, and it's so interesting. They make real money. When Lobo said, you're taking your people off the street, you're losing about $25,000 an hour.
Yeah.
And I thought he was gonna say like a day, or I don't know. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
25 grand a day is still a lot. He said 25 grand an hour. So now you know what kind of money they're looking at. For them to have a packed club that's over capacity, them roll out tables to bring other new people in so they can keep spending money, like you mentioned, to the bottle service or the service waitress. And them to be doing great numbers. The manager comes and is like, look, where's the boss? I want to show him what numbers we're doing. We're doing great numbers, like through the roof.
And makes sense, because the wife, Tasha, she looked at the numbers and she just sucked her teeth like, this is nothing.
Right, like this is no money. And he's just like, she just popped his bubble like, like what? So she should have, said, oh, this is great, like awesome, but. There's an old saying, you can take somebody out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the person.
Yeah. And then especially she's a ride or die. She's one of those ride or die chicks where she totally rides for him. Who I find interesting is the mom Estelle.
Debbie Morgan's character.
Yeah, Debbie Morgan's character.
Yeah, it's good to see her back too, doing something that's awesome to see.
And so when they were in the kitchen, after the big sex scene, they're all in the house, and then you start to see little things. You see the driver Sean looking at I keep calling her Notori, keeps looking at Tasha's ass.
Right.
So you already kind of figure out, okay, what's going on?
Right.
Are they having sex? Is there any kind of betrayal? She already feels a disconnect. With him, he doesn't want to have sex with her. He's just Ghost is very disconnect. And then you have when Ghost is speaking Spanish, and then Estelle is that mother was like, well, how did he learn Spanish? And she was like, and then Tasha's like, well, I don't know how he learned Spanish. He was speaking Spanish before I met him. So Estelle, she reminds me of the mom in What's Love Got to Do with It. You remember Jennifer Lewis? Like, she likes the perks, she likes all the money, but she has questions and she has doubts.
Right.
And that's exactly what Estelle's character is to me. She likes the lifestyle, she likes living in the penthouse, she likes the jewelry.
Yes.
But she's also like,
and she loves her grandkids, but she can play the grandmama, mother-in-law role. She can do that. It doesn't matter what he's doing or how he's getting it. She can play that role simply because that's the role of the mother-in-law, and never mind that her daughter is, I don't know, she sees her son getting somebody's number, and you don't know what that's regarding or what that's for, unless they didn't reveal that whether she recognized Angela or not, or she knew who she was. But I think if he would have known who she was, she would have confronted him, maybe, because she seems like the confront type. Yeah, the confrontational type. Like
or she may be the skeezer type, because she left. So what we're talking about is once we were back in the club, we had we had Ghost. We had Ghost's character see someone that he obviously knew. So he goes and he chases her down, and then he's like, Angela. And then Angela calls Ghost Jamie.
Right.
Which is interesting because as far as we know, everyone only calls him Ghost or his other
Mr. St. Patrick.
Yeah, or Mr. St. Patrick. And
Our boss.
And so Tasha's character, Tasha is watching. It's so hard for me to.
Naturi Naughton plays Tasha. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tasha is watching the whole entire time. She's watching the whole entire time, and
she sees something going on.
I don't think she's one of those pop-off type of wives. She's one of the wives who's going to sit back and she's going to be very strategic because, her
There's
husband,
too much at stake.
Yeah, it's way too much at stake. So she's watching the numbers exchange, but you can totally tell from Angela and Ghost's interaction that it wasn't just oh, hey, how's it going? Really? What? Okay, well, let me have your number. Okay, we'll talk soon. It wasn't that kind of dynamic. You can totally see that there was
some kind of chemistry
of I think they're gonna bone.
Well, I honestly, when I saw that scene, I thought that she was going to approach them and say, "Hi, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Ghost's wife.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. What's your name?" I thought she was gonna pull one of those. She didn't.
I didn't think so, only because I knew that she was gonna leave, and I knew Sean was a driver, so I was wondering what was gonna happen. When Tasha left, she went into the car. Mm-hmm. It already had been established, from the first club scene that she had to leave because he told her to go home, and she's like a bored housewife. All she does is she's at home, she takes care of the kids, and then now she goes out at night and she goes to the club. Well, now he sends her home, and so now she's bored. Sean knows that, so I knew that she was gonna leave. Sean was gonna have to come get her, and I was wondering if he was gonna pull over. Or what was going to happen.
Or something was going to pop off.
Or something's going to pop off.
I thought they were going to start playing Partition or something. Beyonce's Partition. She dropped the Partition. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. I was like, are they going to start playing Partition right now? Yeah. But I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
But there was actually partitions about there would be two people in the back, so she was by herself. But it still would have been cool if they did that. They might set that up later on in the season. Who knows? But that was just kind of really, really ratchet how she just
she just kind of
masturbated like right there in front of him, like because you saw your husband getting a number. Now you're gonna get the driver killed. Because this guy doesn't play. Obviously, they call him Ghost for a reason, right? So
Do you think that Sean and Tasha have boned?
No.
Okay.
No, I definitely don't think they've boned. It's simply because that's real, real reckless, especially working for the kind of person that he works for. Mm-hmm. And the way he was looking at her in the kitchen when she was getting breakfast ready, he was looking at it like he was admiring it like a guy who's never boned her.
But
like he probably fantasizes about it, and that's why she was messing with his head when she dropped it. She probably knows he looks at her like that, but
Well, maybe it's not the first time that he's looked at something like that, because as soon as she rolled the window down, she gave him the look, and then he was like this. He was ready. Said, "Watch what was about to happen."
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he was just like, what does she want? What is she doing? Like, okay, she's not saying anything, and like, okay, what's okay?
Well,
okay. I think it was one of those kind of situations.
Well, I think that you guys should now. Let me talk about Maria Menounos' new book. It's called Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, and it's out in bookstores right now, and you can also get it on Amazon.com. And although it does say the Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, it is also for guys as well. If you guys know Maria Menounos, she's very fit. She likes to work out, and she's very health conscious. And there's a lot of great things in there for both men and women that you guys can check out to eat healthy, to work out, and to do what she does. Because if you know Maria Menounos' story, she was a chubby girl, and she lost the weight, and now she looks fabulous. So you guys make sure you go and check this book out. You can purchase it online at Amazon, or you can get it at any bookstores like Target or Barnes & Noble. So Maria Menounos.
Abs of Steel.
Yeah.
And speaking of steel, so you got Jamie running around here with no steel.
Yeah.
He's not strapped. And that's part of living the legitimate facade or image. You know, that's why he has Tommy to handle the guys in the street. They have their roles. I'm just not sure. Sometimes when you get caught in that lukewarm phase or state, it could be very, very hazardous to your health, so to speak, especially in, you know, his line of work, what he's doing. He has to take, you know, precaution.
And he has no security with him.
Right, exactly. But fortunately, he's insulated himself so well that nobody knows who he is, who Lobos's New York distributor is. Ruiz, you know, he sits down with a guy named Ruiz at the park. Come to find out, Ruiz, who's also another dealer, but he's an arms dealer, right? Okay, he deals with arms. He got hit as well.
Yeah.
So now you have to look like, okay, Ruiz got hit, I got hit. What's going on? Who's setting this up? Who's setting us up? Like, who would have the audacity to hit both of these guys who have? Well, apparently Ruiz is not quite so organized, is what the legal team was saying.
Right.
You know, so Lobos wouldn't really use Ruiz for distribution or whatever.
But you did mention something about how strategic he is and how he really crosses his T's and dots his I. When they were having the meeting with some of the workers, Tommy said, you know, how odd is that for people to work for someone that they don't know? And then I like what he said. He says, you think the fry cook at Burger King knows the CEO?
Exactly.
And that's a great point. So he's very smart in what he's doing.
Right. And the way he sat up and just watched them from above.
Yeah.
Without them being able to see that he was there, so he could make sure everything was going and everybody was on point.
That's on some boss type stuff.
Well, he's a boss.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, just the analogy he used about the fry cook and the CEO was right on point.
Yeah. Because
he can't let people see him. It's not even a matter of, you know, they should do an episode of Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
Let him go and work in the street so he can really see what's going on. But at the end of the day, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, because we saw him take Miguel out like it was nothing. You know, so that was an establishing part to really show that this guy is the real deal. And his street cred can never be questioned later. You know, it's like, oh, well, he's not getting his hands dirty. He has other people doing it. So there's a fear factor there now with this guy really being formidable and him having the reputation. Just like Lobo said, they did a research on him, and his reputation in the street precedes him.
Yeah.
He's feared in the street. So it's surprising that his name isn't thrown around more, but maybe because of that very same fear factor, his name isn't brought up so much when it comes to certain kinds of scenarios and situations.
Yeah, I mean, even his wife Tasha, when Ghost called and said, "I need you to take something and take it out of the oven," she knew exactly what to do. She was having a conversation with her bestie.
Played by Lala Vasquez.
Lala sure can get her job, can't she though?
Lala Vasquez Anthony. I don't know what she goes by her stage name, but yeah.
So her character's name was Keisha, and so they're having
Tasha and Keisha,
right?
How run away.
Yeah, and so they're in the closet, and you know, she's talking about, oh, you have such a great life, and how, you know, dudes like that don't marry chicks. And Tasha is having a moment where she's like, it's not all what it seems to be. He has issues and this, and it was almost to where she was getting ready to confide in her best friend and tell her about some things. And then she gets the phone call from Ghost, and Ghost is like, yo, I need you to take something out the oven. And she totally went back to business. She says, hold on, I'll be right back.
She even faked the end of the phone call.
Yeah, she did. She faked the end of the phone call, and she was like, oh, you know, Ghost just wants me to go get some more money for us to go shopping.
Right.
She goes away. She goes into the little the stash.
Right.
She sees the blood on the tank top. She sees it. She didn't even budge. She was like, okay. She grabbed the money, and then we see later that she takes it and she puts it in the what do you call it? Incinerator.
An incinerator. I was actually surprised that he held on to it for so long. I thought he would have, like, you know, burned it sooner. or had it or took it off. But I'm sure he obviously has a system, worked out. But that scene right there goes to show that even though she's the wife, it's almost like she's like an employee. It felt like at that moment in that scene, I was like, how did they meet? Did he put her to work? Did he have her kind of working and then he was just hitting it, and then he was like, okay, she's a down chick, and then he just ended up having kids with her and marrying her. Like,
I didn't take it that way, that she was an employee.
It kind of felt employee-ish because she knew exactly what to do. Like she was like
but she when he asked her earlier in the show, he asked her about our life, and she said, you're the best at what you do, and she only saw him as being the best drug dealer in the world, best drug dealer. So the relationship has already been established that he's the big drug dealer, she's the
right.
I don't know, what do you call a drug dealer's girlfriend or wife? Well, I don't know, is there a name?
Drug dealer's wife. She's just his wife.
She's the wife,
and that's what he does for a living.
And so for me, it was more like a Bonnie Clyde moment where she knows her husband needs her to do something. She's gonna do it because she has his back. I didn't take it as an employee moment for me.
Okay.
It just felt like, she's the wife, and she needs to, if she loves him, she likes his lifestyle, and she's going to do anything in her that she can possibly do to help protect and keep their lifestyle the way it is. So she's that wife when she needs to burn a shirt, or I think she would even kill somebody.
She probably would do whatever that he told her to do, like what they have to do. That's just the way it is. But it seems as if he has a vision beyond, well, it doesn't seem like he does. He has a vision beyond where they're at right now. They had the laundromats to clean the money that Tommy mentioned. Then they started the nightclub to clean money. So he says, what if we can be bigger? Like, I'm sure he's thinking on a very corporate level. And she's not on the same page as him, and neither is Tommy. He's not getting any support either way. And then, he really wants to get out of this life.
But, okay, he's not getting support from Tommy or Tasha, but how is he supposed to get support when he's so closed off? There's a disconnect, obviously, and she's asking what's wrong, and you have to share your vision and how you want to go further, or how is, like, Tommy's a knucklehead, but as far as the wife is concerned, how is she supposed to jump on board if all you do is, have me to burn shirts and do money and all these things that deals with drugs? How is Tasha supposed to get on the other side and become legal if he's not giving her anything besides what he's already given her, that's dealing with the drug life?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, how are you going to really be able to convince her? Because she's so absorbed with their lifestyle, and the money that they make already is obviously, way grander than, much bigger. We're dealing with much bigger numbers than obviously you're going to make it, the nightclub. So when she saw the numbers, it was like, that's not a lot of money. Like, whatever. How is that really gonna appeal to her? Not like, not living the simple life. That to her would probably be like living a much simpler life. She probably blows money in shops and has every pair of expensive $1,000 shoes and $1,000 bags and whatever. She probably has everything. Like, her friend is going through her closet, like trying to squeeze her feet
hello fat feet,
right, into Tasha's little feet, her little shoes, because
she's only like 5 feet tall,
right? And so that is something that I don't know. But there are really good character points that they establish about how this is going to play out, because her loyalty is going to be questioned somewhere in there. And now he has an out because he's ran into Angela. You could go ahead.
Well, before speaking of loyalty, what do you guys think about Tommy's loyalty? Because he is scheming money on the side, which is why he has his own strategy for why you don't do the receipts for the amount of money that's taken for the club. And so he's stashing money, and now that's a sign of disloyalty, because now obviously he has some other motive or something that he's doing behind Patrick's back.
Well,
I mean, Ghost
I'm not sure if the bulk of their money is not really being made at that club anyway. What is he taking side money for anyway? Like, he's his partner where the real money is being dealt with. So the little money that they're making at the club, it like, if for him to even just take a small portion of that, like, what is he using it for?
So do you think he's using it in a manipulative, scheming way, or do you think he has some kind of other motive? Well, is he taking the money, putting it to the side, and putting it into the bank, or what do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, of course, it's going to get revealed later, but it's going to be interesting to see what is going on with him. You know, maybe it's for his mom, because remember he talked about his mom being ill and she's getting worse.
That is a good point.
Who knows what he's using the money for? He seems to be like a really down, loyal dude. You know, he said they've been hustling together for their whole life. You know, and he obviously knows Angela also.
Yeah, they all grew up together.
Right. So now that he's actually, you know, that James Ghost has actually run into Angela again, and now he's taking her to lunch and they've hung out. She's an attorney now. That's, I believe, what he probably always kind of wanted to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And he just got involved in the drug business, and now he's gonna have to fight his way out. He was able to become successful, and he has a wife that allowed him and enabled him to do that and perform and be successful in that lifestyle. And he had a buddy that had his back, and they did it together. But you know, when you get to everything that you want, just like she was saying, she says, you know, there's money and everything, like, but there's things that you just don't see. You know, there comes a time where it's not all about money. You know, you're on the grind and you're on the hustle and you're trying to make money, and then you get to the point where you're maintaining, because right now they're maintaining a business. They already have money, but when you have everything materially, then the other things that you don't have that are not material actually start to become exposed. And that's why she's having these, you know, reflective moments about her relationship with her husband and their situation. It's like she doesn't want to see.
I think it's interesting because I really like where I like where it's going, because you have Tasha feeling a certain way about her marriage. On one side she's loyal, but now Angela's into the picture. This is a girl who has taught her husband Spanish, and now Ghost has a reconnection with Angela. You have Tommy taking money on the side, and now you have Angela who's a lawyer, but her camp is now investigating the whole thing with Felipe. And the only way to take him down is to figure out who Felipe's New York distributor is, who they can't find. But I liked how when they were describing it would be this kind of person, then they started showing his back, but his lifestyle, what he does, and so forth. So there's going to be a huge triangle that's about to happen, because, you know, will he fall in love back with Angela? Will he want her again? Will she find out that he's a distributor? And will she give there's so much now that you can play with now that all this information has been exposed between the four main characters, that it can pretty much go anywhere, which is what I really like about this series so far.
Okay, well, let's go into predictions about next week.
Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz
That
TV
being said,
predictions.
Okay, so for episode 2, season 1, Starz original series Power. What are your predictions for next week, Bam?
I think Tasha and Sean. I think Tasha's going to continue to do this whole thing with Sean. I don't think Sean's going to bite, but I think that that Ghost will find out, and he potentially may get shot or killed just because
soon, huh?
Because he's watching or looking. I mean, he's just a driver. I mean, he doesn't.
That's true.
He doesn't have a significant role in the series, so he can easily be capped off. I think that Tommy is not gonna Jamie and Angela rekindling, because, you know,
he was there for him and remembers how bad it was. Yeah.
And she broke his heart. And I don't think he's going to like the fact that the two are rekindling. But I'm also just curious. I don't really have a prediction yet, but I wonder, will she do her job, or will she fall in love and let love blindside what her purpose is and what she used to do with this whole Felipe Lobos investigation?
Okay, well, I'm going to say either episode 2 or episode 3, Angela's going to find out what and who he really is.
I agree.
And it's not going to be one of those season-long things where she's dating him and then finds out and it's a big shock. I think it starts, something happens where they rekindle. Obviously, the guy that she's seeing, she's going to boot that little sucker out the door because he's, you know, she was annoyed. She's actually dating this guy. She was annoyed that he showed up at the house when you would think that, just like he said, well, you would think that, you know, I have a key. I would I'm checking on you to make sure, you know, everything is cool. That's what she gave him a key for.
Yeah.
You know, but I believe she's going to find out. They're going to rekindle. He's going to find out, she's going to find out who and what he is. And they're going to have this tug of war where he actually is able to confide in her the way he can't confide in Tasha. And she's going to try to help him the whole time on both sides of the investigation. But that's going to be the arc. I feel that's going to be...
That's a great prediction.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. Anyway, where can we find you until next time, Bamm?
You can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen.
And you can find me on all social media at Club Thaddeus. That's Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me also at gqjedi.com. Until next time, After Buzzers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.